Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Steve Ford, and welcome to your English lesson. Today, we're going to be going on a trip to my home country, Canada. So let's go. Do you like traveling? Have you ever traveled abroad? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. So I invite you to get on a plane with me as we go to our first stop, Toronto. Attention all passengers, this is your captain speaking. To your left, we can see the Toronto skyline, and we'll be arriving at Pearson International in approximately 7 minutes. Toronto, or if you want to say it the way that we say it here in Canada, especially if you live in Toronto, is Toronto. We don't pronounce the T in Toronto when you're in Toronto. Toronto, Toronto, Toronto. It's faster, it's easier to say, and there are many things to see and do, so let's check them out. Without a doubt, the real tourist hotspot in Toronto is the CN Tower, as was mentioned. It's a must-see, and I hope that you get a chance to go there. You can try to go to the top of the tower and get a great view. I also highly recommend going to the restaurant where you can have a 360-degree view of the city and even further out. If you're more adventurous, you can pay to hang off the tower. One thing that I can tell you is Toronto is one of those cities that it doesn't matter if you have just arrived, you're going to fit in as soon as you arrive. Yes, it's a very accepting city in terms of where you are from. So if you do want to go shopping, shop till you drop, shop until you can't anymore, then Canada in general is a good place to do it. If you're coming from the States or you're bringing American dollars, is going to be more in Canadian dollars. So that can work to your advantage. The standard Canadian accent is very, very similar to the standard American accent. The only difference that you will notice visiting Canada is OUT. And Canadians will say out, out. It's more of a closed sound coming from the Scottish. And Americans will say out, which is a much more open sound. That's the only difference you're going to notice. And maybe sometimes, especially in the smaller towns and cities, you will hear a Canadian use a. How's it going, eh? Nice weather, eh? Next stop, Montreal. Montreal, or as the French would say, Montréal. Yes, Montreal is the second largest French-speaking city in the world after Paris. They might say bonjour, hi to you, but if you're a tourist and you're speaking in English, then they will probably speak in English. They have a huge jazz festival in the summertime in Montreal, and it's also the home of Cirque du Soleil. Now, from my experience, Montrealers, that's what they're called there, people from Montreal, Montrealers, people from Toronto, Torontonians, Montrealers tend to be a little bit more laid back. In case you don't know, laid back means relaxed, easygoing, not in so much of a rush. You can practice a little of your French. You could say hello, bonjour, or a more informal hi, salut. And two really important ones, please, s'il vous plaît, and thank you, merci. Merci Montréal. Let's go to the next city. Vancouver is Canada's third largest city, situated between the Pacific Coastal Mountains and the Pacific Coast. It's a city that is situated in nature. Vancouver is a great place for outdoor activities. It's a playground for tourists where you can go rollerblading and bike riding at Stanley Park. You can go to the local beaches for a swim or just sunbathing, or you can go to Grouse Mountain where you can do downhill skiing. You can go snowboarding. Capilano Suspension Bridge where you can walk across many bridges, especially a nice long one over a river. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this lesson giving you a small taste about traveling to Canada. In other lessons on this topic, I'm going to be talking about what it's like to immigrate to Canada and also working in Canada and living in Canada. What's that like? Well, you're going to find out. And if you would like to do a quiz on some of the vocabulary in this lesson, you can go to this link here. If you would like to join my student community for free, you can do that here. If you would like to contact me, you can do that down below. All the links are below, and I hope to see you in our next lesson. Bye for now.